Hi, friends. How's it going? Happy Wednesday. Welcome to the first live stream of 2026. This is really exciting. I am trying something new this year. Starting in January, I'm going to go live every Wednesday at 1 o'clock Central Time and just see if that works out. So if you are joining, please say hello in the chat. Let me know who's here. I am going to get started on building out this set. So this was sent to me early access from Lego through the Lego Ambassador Network, and I'm really excited about it. The Daily Bugle set from before was one that I wanted, but felt like it was a little bit too big for our house. And so this is a nice one that gives us the option of having it without having to have this massive structure. So, and I've heard good things from others who built it. So yeah, hello, welcome. Happy New Year. I had asked in the Q&A ahead of time what New Year's goals you have. So curious if anybody has any New Year's goals that you're ready to share. And if you'd like to share them, let me know. It looks like people hadn't responded in advance to the question. Yeah, it doesn't look like it. So, but yeah, very curious. What are your New Year's goals? And are any of them related to Lego? Let's see. So there's an extra bag. 17. There we go. First bag. I'm going to put these in order just to make it a little bit faster. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this is the first time that I've gotten a set where the pieces that are like the bonus extra pieces that you need are in this little bag that has that symbol on it, as opposed to in the plastic bag beside it. So that's pretty cool. A lot of the other sets, even with the paper bags that I've gotten, where it was like, you know, you have a large base plate or something that's in a separate bag. Usually it's in plastic, so it's nice to see that they've got it in paper this time. So yeah. That's 11 a.m. Pacific. Yes, it is. 11 Pacific, 1 Central. This is a time that works for me. So my hope was that this could work for potentially other people. So we'll see. How are you, Brandon? Happy New Year. Do you have any fun New Year's plans or New Year's goals? Okay, to get started, I want to show you some of the stickers that we have. So there's 2 sticker sheets, a large one and a small one. And it looks like, oops, let me go there. There we go. It looks like they both are on that like clear background, as opposed to on white, which we sometimes get as well. So yeah, actually, no, this one is on white and this one is on clear, which usually that makes sense when they do multiple sheets. So, all right. So for starters, we're going to be building out this mech, which is fun, and getting our Spider-Man minifig. Then we get into the newsstand with Spider-Gwen. And then we get into the Daily Bugle. So let's dive into that first bag. Champion's DeLorean had a mix of larger plastic bags and paper insert bags. Yeah, like that's been how it's been so far with any of the sets I've been getting. So it's interesting to see how long it's taken them to get to all paper bags. What I found is with the early access sets that we get through the Lego Ambassador Network, most of them have been coming with paper bags, but most of them are shipped directly from Denmark. And so because of that, I think the supply chain there had been set up to do paper right away. So trying to get job training so I can afford more larger sets. Nice, good stuff. What type of work do you do? My background is I used to work in education. So I worked in higher education for about 12 years. And then I worked in corporate. And when I was in corporate, I was doing employee engagement work. And so did that for about 7. But my background is a lot of like teaching and training and educating and that kind of thing. So, and now I do all kinds of different things. So a little bit of consulting, work related to employee engagement. I also do a little bit of Lego art, which is fun, and content creation. So I kind of a mix of different stuff. All right, this extra bag, ooh, fun. Okay, so in the past, we used to get all of the different web bits all together in a plastic bag. They just moved them to paper. But yeah, you can see in the tub, there's quite a few of those different web pieces. They're nice. So Okay, so we have the rhino. Let's see. Oh, I said Spider-Gwen. It says Ghost Spider, so I should probably be using the terms that they use for it. To me, it's Spider-Gwen, but yes, I could be completely wrong. You're thinking of working at your local Lego store. Nice. That's awesome. I've worked retail before. I actually enjoyed it. I worked at Paper Source, which is a paper crafting company. And I did a little bit of work part-time at Bed Bath & Beyond, which doesn't exist anymore in the way that it did back then. But loved the paper crafting experience. That was really fun. And I got to teach workshops, which was really cool. All right. So for starters, this character, this rhino, I'm loving the way that they did the hat part with the shoulders attached as well. Great front and back printing on that torso. No surprise to me that there's no printing on the legs, since this is kind of a younger set, but I would like to see more detail in that. And then with Spider-Man, I think this is one that we've already gotten before, but we have good front printing and back printing. And the arms have good printing as well. So again, nothing on the legs, and that's kind of to be expected. So do you live close to your Lego store? Ours is, I don't know, without traffic, it can be about 15 to 20 minutes. But usually there's traffic. And so with traffic, it's anywhere from 35 to 40 or more, unfortunately. So that can be a long trek. All right. And of course, Spider-Man needs to be shooting some webs. So got some pieces that attach here for that. Curious, are you a big Marvel fan? What type of sets do you like to build? I know we've talked about this a little bit before. And I see that your name is Brandon Lego Uni Disney fan. What does uni mean? Lego Uni. Curious. All right, so Spider-Man, Peter Parker, and then has a little spider friend to go with him, of course. Yeah, you have 3 close to you. Okay, a little bit jealous. That's awesome. We only have one in Austin. That's actually what got me back into the hobby as an adult. Was I was walking through our shopping mall and saw the Lego store and was like, hey, this is pretty cool. After I moved here, and that was a long time ago. But yeah, it's the only store we have in town. San Antonio is about an hour away, and they've got 2 or 3, I think. Houston has a ton of stores, but Texas is such a massive state that it's not like easy to get from place to place necessarily. So, but I like our store. It's nice. It's smaller. It's in the mall. I wish it were a little bit closer to where we live. Austin is so big that I think we could use a second store, but I know they have to make a lot of decisions around that. Oh, Universal. That makes a lot of sense. Good stuff. Are you in California? I think we chatted about that last time. We have been to Universal California back in 2017, I think it was. We went to Disney and Universal and had a really wonderful time. It was my husband's first chance to go to Disneyland. He'd been to World before, but not Land. And I'd been there one other time. I went for a conference a while before that. But that was really fun. We had a good time. Don't really have any close by here in Texas in the middle of the country. So I like that you start with the mech here. That was one of the pieces of this set that I was really excited about. I love brick built characters, and so I love ways to kind of combine both the brick built character concept with minifigures. So this is a nice way to kind of get that when you get a mech. Oops. Let's see. Since you're a pass holder of Universal Studios Hollywood, you put that in your username as a reminder of what I'm into. Nice. That makes sense. I wish we lived close enough to be a pass holder at Disney in particular. If we lived close enough to Universal, Maybe we would there too. I'm not sure. But one of the things that I hope happens is that we get some more Wicked fun showing up at the Universal parks. I think that would make a lot of sense. But I'm curious as to also how long the excitement around Wicked is going to continue now that both movies are out. We obviously loved the movies, and it's a huge part of our lives here. So, you know, big fans, but I know that may not necessarily translate to everybody over multiple years after, as we get more distance from the films. Does your park have anything related to Wicked? I kind of think the only thing I've heard about is a store. I'm not sure. Philip actually got me a mug from Shiz University that was from the store, either there or maybe the one in Orlando, but he got it online. So there's a Universal Park coming to Texas, but it's in Frisco and geared towards families. Yes, I have heard of that. It's not close to where we live necessarily, but closer than a drive to California or to Florida. So, you know, could be a good option eventually. And yeah, the geared towards families piece, I'm curious to see what that actually means in practice, you know. All right, good use of brackets here. I like how we're going to be attaching things on the sides here and here, and that's going to keep this more stable, which is good. And then using, let's see, let me find the piece and I'll show you. Using this style of wedge like surrounding it with these types of arches, which just creates a little bit more fun and more shape to the way this looks. So pretty cool. How often do you go to Universal? And are you a pass holder to Disney as well? Where's the other one? Here it is. I really wish we lived close to a Disney park because I think we would go often. You had an Alphaba and Glenda meeting during the summer and holiday seasons. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me, of course. I would expect those types of things. But yeah, I was curious if they're ever going to do any like rides or anything, which, you know, that's obviously a larger investment that they need to make for that. So, and I would think like Wizard of Oz, or not Wizard of Oz, but an Emerald City and all of Oz, like, experience would be really cool to walk through. Even if there's no ride, it'd be really neat if that was like a section that you walked through as you were going through. All right, first sticker. And this is just like some detail on the mech. I have to be quiet when I do stickers. All right, got it. And it's reasonably centered. Okay, so this is going to be kind of on the torso, I think, or it's going to be right over where the minifigure is going to stand, I think. So, okay. Did you get or give any Lego sets for Christmas or for the holidays? You go basically 3 times a month? Okay, super jealous. That's awesome. That is so much fun. When we've been, of course, it was on like vacation, and so it was a big deal to get to go just the one time. I'd been to Universal in Florida. I used to live in Florida. I was in Miami. And I think I went to Universal once when I was living there, but I went to Disney a handful of times because a lot of my friends went there. So rides based on Wicked are rumored for now, but it might be confirmed for Epic Universe. Nice. Yeah. I would be surprised if they already had it completely under development, but the fact that they're talking about it and thinking about it is no surprise to me because obviously those movies did so incredibly well. All right. So we've got one leg that we're getting started on. Our allergy season has kicked into full gear, which is not fun. We have something that we call cedar fever, which is when all the cedar trees like dump all their pollen everywhere. and it is not fun. So apologies for being a little bit sniffly today, but it's just all up in the air everywhere. Where's that piece? Ah, here it is. I find in particular that with sets that have a lot of black and gray and white, that I find it harder to find the pieces versus if there's a lot of color. They just kind of blend all together for me, for my eyes. In here, when I sort my Lego, I actually sort it where I put black and white together in different sections because that makes it easier to find the individual pieces. And I also sort by part. So we have a very big collection. And need it pretty well sorted for a lot of the mock building that we do. So, you don't have a Disneyland Magic Key Pass since it's more expensive. You only go with a friend if he's available. Nice. I love that was an option, was having friend passes, that your friends could go with you or like get a discount or whatever. I'm sure it's changed since I lived in Miami, but that was something that I really loved, was driving up to Orlando, staying with my friends who worked at the University of Central Florida, and then heading over the parks with them. So, and they taught me all the tips and tricks to get the most out of your experience and really make sure that you were maximizing your time, which was really fun. So, okay, and now it looks like we're getting the next section of the legs. I'm building this twice because it's identical. Yeah, same for me. It's even more difficult building and looking for the gray black pieces in the night. Oh, for sure, right? Yeah, can be much more challenging to see. Our Lego room has some pretty bright lights, which is nice. We like our house to not be super bright all the time, but that room in particular, I wanted to make sure we use the overhead lights because it's more helpful when you're building, for sure. One of my 2026 goals, and really this is a January goal in particular, is to head over to the Lego room and get it cleaned out and organized in a way that I can do my live streams from in there again. Right now I'm in my kitchen. So you can see I'm at our table. This is our little, what do you call that, buffet that has like some of our dishes and things in it. And so I would love to be back in the Lego room. It's just a disaster right now. So I worked in there for 2 hours the other day and made a tiny, tiny dent. So more work to go for sure, but we will get there. So, hey, how's it going, Medina? Yay. Yeah, same for me. It's even more difficult building and looking. Oh, that was you. I didn't see. I was thinking that was Brandon, but I realized that I missed seeing that. How's it going? Good to see you. Hector, I don't know if you've met Brandon, who's also on in the chat. But Brandon, I think you're relatively newer to the live streams that I've been having. Is that right? I feel like I'm just starting to recognize your username a little bit more. Hector, I've been, and do I have that right that it's Hector? I always want to say Medina or Tito because of your Instagram handles, but I've been looking over the feedback that people have given a little bit already for the monthly or weekly build challenges. And it's pretty consistent, which is nice, that people are still wanting to continue, but are wanting a little bit more time to come up with ideas from the prompts. And I'm getting really excited about some ideas that I have for it. So I'll be following up very soon through Instagram. I'm going to plan to share next week, like, here's the reveal of what I'm planning to do for the build challenges throughout the year. But Brandon, if you're over on Instagram, we would love to, yay. Yes. We would love to have you join. So over on Instagram, I lead a build challenge where there's different prompts. It was weekly last year. It won't be weekly this year. I need more time. And I think others were saying they needed more time as well. And so it's a lot to manage, but I'm really, really looking forward to it. So part of what I'm planning to do as a preview for you both is I'm planning to include a tutorial video that'll go along with whatever the prompt is. So it'll teach you some build skill, and then the prompt will relate to incorporating that build skill into your build. And likely going to be monthly. I do want to just read through all of the feedback that came through, because I know more people were sharing today, and just make sure that I'm listening to the voice of people who've been building or who've been wanting to build with the process before making final decisions. But that's where I'm leaning, which is really cool. Brandon, do you also watch my friend Ben? Do you watch his streams? He's got his streams on Thursdays and Sunday mornings, I think. He's a good friend of ours that we know through the lug. Yes. So Hector, that's the plan. That's the goal, is how do I really lean into what I love the most, which is teaching. How do I lean into incorporating some of the teaching elements into the build challenge? For me, a lot of like how I grew as a builder was in learning through either participating in different build challenges or learning from other people sharing tutorials and things. And so that's something that I'm skilled at and really enjoy doing. And so I thought, let's put that into practice with the way that I approach our build challenge. So we'll see how well people respond to it. I hope it's good, but I think it'll be a lot of fun. So, and I'll likely post the tutorial videos here on YouTube, because they'll be a little bit longer than what a reel would consist of. But then the submissions will be shared on Instagram. So we'll continue to do that there. So. Let's see. And this I'm doing in mirror image. I'm almost done with the mechs. I'm excited to show you. This truthfully was one of the pieces that I was really excited about with this set, because I thought this mech was a little bit different than what we typically see with some of the mechs that we've been building across Marvel, which I don't know if y'all have seen the discourse around this, but I love that people are bringing attention to the fact that most of the mechs, actually all of the mechs that we've gotten, have all been for male characters. And there are plenty of badass female characters that deserve their own mechs as well. So I'm excited to see kind of what comes from some of that. Oh, I forgot a piece. Let's see. That's why that wasn't sitting right. But was excited to see a lot of the mocks that people have been making there, to bring attention to like some of the really cool characters that we get, like an X-Men and stuff. But really hope that LEGO takes that to heart, because we have so many mechs of so many characters, and there are so many characters that deserve a mech. So we'll see. Brandon, are you much of a reader? I ask because Hector and I both love to read, and Hector created a really fun account that's all about the books that he's reading. So he has a Bookstagram account as well, which is a lot of fun. I'm still working on finishing one of the books that I started in December before getting started on my books for January. And also we're waiting on Heated Revelry, the whole series, to be coming through soon. You only read magazine articles. Okay, that's fair. What magazines do you like to read? I'm doing a book club on all 6 books of Heated Rivalry. I dove in. Oh, and New Elementary. Yes, amazing website, super helpful, super interesting. I actually really loved getting to know the folks behind New Elementary at Fan Media Days, because they're also recognized LEGO Fan Media, and it was just so fun to chat with them and get to know the faces behind it. All right, this is really cool. Okay, so I'm loving the intense shoulders that we're getting here. Like you can see how beefy and strong this Rhino mech is. Really, really cool. The boots are also like massive, really chunky, which is cool. And then let's skip forward to where we can put him in. Because it was like mirror image for those arms, I was just building them simultaneously. All right, so this slides down. We set him in, and it slides back up, and that is awesome. That's really, really cool. So that was bag 1. Got Spider-Man, got Rhino, and now let's dive into bag 2 with Ghost Spider. Question for you both. Do either of you know if Ghost Spider is the same thing as Spider-Gwen? I just assumed it was Spider-Gwen based on the quick look, but now I'm like, wait a minute, do I have that wrong? Maybe I do. Yeah, really cool mech for sure. Another account, if you don't follow them already, is Tips and Bricks. If you're on Instagram, they're pretty heavy there, but they also have a really nice blog that captures and tracks all the information they share on Instagram. And so that's a good way to learn some new build tips and tricks. And they also do some build challenges occasionally on their Tips and Builds account. So I got to co-host one, their first one actually, when they first started it last year. I think it was April. I think that was last year. Maybe it was the year before. Gosh, it's all blending together. All right, let's dive in. Okay, so we start with Ghost Spider, which, yeah, she looks very similar to me to Spider-Gwen. So maybe that is like her name in a different universe. Where is her torso? Is it hiding? Wait a minute. I'm looking directly at this and I'm sure it's in here, but I am not seeing her torso. Huh, okay, let me check the bag again. That's one thing with these paper bags is it's really easy to accidentally have something left in them that you weren't expecting when you took it out. Oh, it's right here. If not audiobooks, here you said definitely would love a Poison Ivy mech and a Spider-Woman mech. Yes. Yeah, so Ghost Spider and Gwen are the same. Thank you. That's good to know. Still looking for the Heated Revelry books. Yeah, they did a pre-order. I pre-ordered. I haven't heard back from them. I'm a little bit nervous, so we'll see if they come. If not, audiobooks, here I come. I know, like, that may be what I need to do is to switch to that for the start of this. Because the first meeting is like January 27th. And to be honest, I can't read fast enough to be able to like fly through the books in time for the meeting if it comes like January 25th. So we shall see. We shall see. All right. Spider-Gwen, Spider-Gwen. Here we go. So this is our Spider-Gwen's Ghost Spider friend. You can see good torso printing on the front here and on the back. I believe her face print is only one-sided so that you can take off the hood. So that's how that one works. I actually prefer the Spider-Gwen that came in the CMF line earlier this fall, but honestly, that's probably going to be true for any Spider-Man character. They did a really good job with those figs, and they put a lot of more attention to detail usually in the CMF. So not a big surprise there. Ooh, fun. Her skateboard gets some cool spiderweb details. This is cool. All right, let's get these on here. So you can see, here's the sticker, and it's like an oval shape. Oh my gosh, I'm loving this camera. This is a new camera, and I'm very happy to have it because it's making a big difference in being able to show you more of the details up close. And I switched to doing just directly live stream through YouTube as opposed to doing it through StreamYard. And that was because the quality is much better if you do it directly through YouTube, unless you have a paid account with StreamYard. And honestly, I didn't know that I wanted to invest in that. So it'll be interesting to see once I get back into having some guests on the live streams, how I'll manage that, because the only way that I know how to do that is through StreamYard or Restream. And I don't really want to invest in the cost there. It's expensive. But if you have any suggestions, I'd love to know. This also means that I'm only live streaming on one platform at a time, and I'm okay with that for now. So here we go. She's on her skateboard. That's sweet. All right. And then we are getting a little newsstand, which I think is perfect with the Daily Bugle set. I love that that was a choice that they made with connecting it to the bigger, larger set as well. So hi, friends. I see a few more people have joined. Say hello in the chat. I'd love to get to know you. We are building out the brand new Daily Bugle set, which is a smaller version of the Daily Bugle. And it's focused on Spider-Man and Mysterio, but has a lot of great figs. So I'm on bag 2 and hanging out with y'all and just enjoying this afternoon live stream. So, Hector, you said you started. Did you start with the Cerulean Sea book from T.J. Klune? I saw that we were chatting about that online. I loved that book so much. I started with that one and did audiobook for it, and it was really fun because there are so many characters, and the person who voiced them did a really fantastic job. So the second book, I think I read. I'm trying to remember now. I actually, now that I think about it, I think I downloaded it for audiobook and haven't listened to it yet. So I need to check on that because I loved that series so much. I am currently finishing the Merriest Misters, which is just a silly holiday-themed book. So it's cute. All right, next sticker up is the sewer cap. It says NYC Sewer. This is great. I love that it's New York. So if I wanted to put this in an actual New York type scene, I could certainly do that. Be nice to have multiples of this sticker if you have like a large New York City scene. But there's the sticker. Let's see. I'm trying to get it so it's not shining. It's pretty nice. And a tip for putting on stickers on circle pieces, I would put the circle piece on a flat plate first before you put it on. And the reason for that is if you don't and you're just holding it, circle pieces can twist any which way in the way that you're holding them, but they only sit at 90-degree angles. So attaching it here first allows you to make sure that it's going to be at the right angle permanently. So, all right. Do y'all have any sets that you're really looking forward to this year, or ones that you got for the holidays that you're excited about building soon? Ooh, cool. We're also getting a mailbox, and it has a US mail sticker, which this is the first time that I've seen that. I'm curious if, now, like I said, my sets typically come from Denmark, and given that this is based in New York City, it would make sense that their sticker would also say US mail, but I'm curious to know if any other sets that we'll get have different country mail codes and stickers. It'd be fun to see. It would make sense that theirs would say the same as ours, given that, or as US, given that the story is based in the US. But yeah. All right. And we get a printed tile that is a letter. I'm sure you've seen this one before. It's not new, but it's a good one. And let's slide that in here. Hello, how's it going? What's your name? I see Firstern Gaming 6002, but I don't know that I'm pronouncing it right, and most likely not. So, hello and welcome. We are building out the Daily Bugle set, which is new this year. I got it for early review or early access from the Lego Investor Network, and I'm really enjoying it so far. I'm only on bag 2. Bag 1 built out the mech that you see here in this corner and gave us Spider-Man. Bag 2 has Spider-Gwen or Ghost Spider, depending on how you'd like to call her. We just did a little bit of research and learned that they're the same. And it is building out this little newsstand, which is fun. Okay, cute little US mailbox. That's fun. Okay, so couldn't find the DeLorean and Lightning McQueen sets, so waiting to get those. And the Wicked Portrait set, yes, it's amazing. Also looking forward to the announced Pokemon series. Yes, so they haven't officially shared any images about them or anything, but what I can tell you is I get to review them. So they are sending them early access for me, and I'm so excited. My hope is to get some brick-built characters, which I would assume that we'll get, but also to see if they're going to go with the minifig route. So looking forward to finding out once they officially reveal. Cerulean Sea and Part 2 are your January reads. Merry Misters is on your list for November, December this year. Nice. Yeah, it's cute. It's fun. I actually like it so far. Philip read You're a Mean One, Matthew Prince, I think was the previous book by the same author. And he enjoyed it, I think. So I haven't read that one. We bought this one when we were at our queer market, and it's put on by our little gay shop, which is a bookstore in town. And so when we were there, I wanted to support the bookshop, so bought this one this season and started at like December 27th. Once I'd finished the other one. Oh, shoot, I did this crooked. All right, I'm going to teach you something cool. So you can see this is crooked. One way to fix it is to take the sticker sheet, to take the edge of it where there's no like sticker on it, and do your best to, it's going to be hard to show directly on here, but if you kind of move it back and forth on the corner of the sticker, you can get it to go underneath the sticker again. And once it does, there we go. Once it's under there, you can take your brick separator. Oops, got to do it again. There we go. So one more try with that. Once it's under, oh man, one last try. But yeah, you can slide it under to peel it back up. Slide your brick separator under. Ta-da, I removed it. Now it's going to be much more warped because it's like curled afterwards, so it makes it a little bit harder to put on, but that allows you to fix it and adjust it so that it's perfect, because crooked stickers drive me batty. All right, yay. Okay, much better. Ta-da, 39th Street. That's pretty cool. All right, so there's our street sign. And it's a very minimal street sign setup, but one that would be really easy to replicate if you're wanting to like keep moving forward. Once I learned that tip, I can't remember from whom, somebody shared it on Instagram, or maybe it was someone in my lug actually, but regardless, once I learned that tip, I was like, everyone needs to know this. This is a game changer. It drives minutes, and it actually works on stickers that have been on for a long time. So I have bought used sets before where they have really poorly placed stickers, and sometimes I'm able to reposition them. So definitely hang on to a sticker sheet so that you have that, because it has to be this like glossy type paper that gets it to wiggle really well underneath. But that's, yeah, a really helpful tip that that I'm happy you find helpful too. Okay, we are making a street light. Also fun for those who build cities. Truthfully, if you're a city builder or a modular builder, I would imagine that you would want your streets to look consistent. And so I'm curious, for those of you who do that style of building, if any of you do have like a big city or whatever, do you have street lamps in your city? How do you choose what way to build them? Are they consistent throughout, or is it whatever came with whatever sets, if you're using sets in your builds? I would probably pick one and stick with that consistently. And the same with like street lamps and whatever. That's one thing I both like and don't like about the, what do you call them? The Winter Village sets, is they always come with a new lamppost build. And I like it because you're learning different ways to do it, but I don't like it because then our Winter Village is full of all different types of lampposts. And I kind of want a little bit more consistency if it's meant to be like one area. Okay, y'all, that's pretty cool. And I'm going to keep bragging on this, but I'm so excited about this camera. Like, this is making a big difference in the ways that I'm able to show you details. So yay. Feels like it was worth the purchase. It was also a Black Friday purchase, so I got it on a good discount too. So for Fierstern Gaming 6002, would love to know what your name is, or I'll just keep trying to pronounce that as I do. But also, do you have any 2026 goals? Do you have any fun things that you're working towards, whether Lego related or not? and would you like to share them with us? So I mentioned one of my January goals is to get back in the Lego room where I can do streaming in there again, so that I'm not out here in the living room or in our den. Our den you can see back there. Right now I'm in like the kitchen area of our house. But also, I just want that space a little bit more clean, because when it is cleaned and organized, it's a little bit easier for me to spend time in there. And that's where I do a lot of my mock building, because all of the bricks are there. So it's harder to do mock building when it's a disaster. And especially at the holidays, it gets that way because we have to move a lot of stuff in the house into that room and other rooms to make space for all the Christmas decorations that we put up. As you can see behind me, a small sliver of our decorations from our house. We fill this house with really cool things. So you're on a 15-minute break from work. Hey, Cam! Happy break. I love that you joined us for your break. That's really fun. I'm building a set that I think you already built. Building out that Daily Bugle. I keep saying Daily Planet. I think it's just a wish that I have, a secret wish. That's not that secret. I would love a large Daily Planet build. And truthfully, if they came out with a Daily Planet build, I think I would want that over the Daily Bugle they came out with last year. And also, now that I have this smaller one, I feel good about that. Right? They should make a Daily Planet. That'd be so cool. So yeah, that would be amazing. Cam, what are your goals? Do you have goals for the new year? Let's see. Get back to working out consistently, whether it's for 20 minutes or for an hour. Make the effort to not be home so much and get out more, and continue reading 2 books a month. Those are great goals. Why don't you just come to Austin and we can work out together? Philip and I have also talked about wanting to use our gym membership that we pay a stupid amount for. It's the local YMCA, but it's more expensive than I thought it was going to be. And we got the membership last year, and we went a little bit last year, and then time passed. And here we are, end of 2025, discussing, do we want to cancel the membership? And we both said, no, let's plan to go and actually make use of it. It's real close to our house. It's super convenient. We should be making use of it. So similar goal of getting back to working out again, and hopefully doing that together. It's actually much more fun to do with somebody else. So hopefully that'll be something that happens for us. We had planned right now to do 4 times a month. So once a week as a start, and we'll see what happens from there. All right, y'all. I am putting on new stickers that are for some news stories from the Daily Bugle. And I will show you in just a second what those stickers say. Okay. So here are the stickers beside Bugle. I'm going to hold it with this hand and read with the other. So the one on the left says, symbiotes, is anyone safe? And that's talking about Venom. And then the next one says, Crusher Hogan's wrestling comeback? ? And I want to say Crusher Hogan would be the Rhino. Is that right? Curious if any of you would know. Hey, Rocket Raccoon. Welcome. Definitely want to work out more this year, make more money, grok your channels, travel to Europe again, different places. Oh, I love all those goals. That's awesome. You want more X-Men sets too? Okay, let me think about my goals. Nice. Yes, more X-Men sets. I specifically want them for you, but also I would enjoy them as well. We are more of a Marvel household than we are a DC household, but we loved the Superman movie. I've always loved Superman, and I've always loved Batman. And speaking of Batman, oh, Grow. Okay, so I saw that and I was like, grok. I don't know what that means. I need to ask you later. So it means you misspelled, which, hey, we've all been there. Rocket Raccoon, you're up. What are your goals? If you want to share, zero pressure. So yeah, one of my goals for January is to focus on fixing up that Lego room so I can get back in there. Another goal is to read. I was telling Hector that I'm not sure my number for this year, but I think it'll be 12. I think 1 book a month is doable for me. I have another goal of learning to embroider. So I bought a kit and I started to embroider, which is a lot of fun. and it's going well so far. I've done 2 nights of the kit, but the main goal behind that is less about the ability to embroider and more about finally putting on my patches and embroidering on my denim jacket that I want to wear to Lego conventions. So I have some really fun Lego patches that I've been collecting over the years, and things that like remind me of my time on Lego Masters and that kind of stuff. But they've just been sitting there in the Lego room, taking up space. So that's something I want to do. Okay, y'all, this is cute. This says newsstand, comics, magazines, postcards. Love that little booth. You want to watch more movies this year? You've embroidered a lot of things for cosplay. Or for your shoes. Also, I wanted to do shoes too, because I watch a lot of those viral videos on crocheting and embroidering and just crafty stuff in general, and have gotten sucked into a bunch that are related to doing shoes, which I thought was really fun. So, all right. And now we've got a posable piece. It's going to go on here, and I think that's so that she can be doing a kickflip. For those of you not in the know, if you are not a skater like my brother was back in the day, a kickflip is when you kick on, while you're riding the skateboard, you kick it and it flips and spins. So that is what I decided Spider-Gwen / Ghost Spider is doing. Cam, can you confirm for me, is Spider-Gwen the same as Ghost Spider? We believe that's true. Someone said that's true in the chat, but I just want to make sure. Yeah, done with bag 2. Y'all, this is fun. We got through a lot so far. So that's bag 2. Here is bag 1. To remind you, this beefy, badass rhino. I'm loving these shoulders. This is actually the body that I'm going for this year with my working out. How cool would that be? And then, of course, Spider-Man, shooting web like a Spider-Man can. Ridiculous. And this, honestly, this build alone would have been a cute little set. Like, I would have been happy with this as its own set. I mean, I'm happier with it in this Daily Bugle, not Daily Planet build, but yes, a kickflip goes toward you and a heel flip away from you. Gwen is Ghost Spider confirmed. Thank you. Okay, y'all, we are winning this game of trivia. And you're teaching me all the things I need to know. So thank you. All right, I'm going to attach her again. And actually, I decided, because we just learned about heel flips, that she's doing a heel flip, because that's pretty cool. So, sweet. Let's move on to bag 3 and get started on the big one. It's the big one. Anybody know what movie that's from? I ask because I don't remember. You're my local skate and Marvel fact checker. I love it. That's the most important job that you could provide. I don't know that we talked about this, Cam, but my brother was a skateboarder all through high school and into college. And he actually was like wanting to go pro and be sponsored and all this stuff. And then he messed up his back in a way that made it to where he couldn't continue to skateboard in the ways that he always did before. But he did skateboarding and snowboarding. And so I actually was pretty hip with the knowledge back in the day. You were into Batman a lot as a kid, but you got fully into the MCU in 2017. Hey, totally fair. I'm guessing the movies played a part in that, would be my assumption. I got way into Marvel because of the movies, for sure. But as a kid growing up, I actually was more of a DC kid. And I think that's because Batman was the series of movies that we had. So Toy Story Sid says, the big one. Yes, about the firework. Thank you. Thank you, Hector. That's awesome. I used to skateboard way more often. That's so cool. I've never snowboarded. So I have never snowboarded because growing up, I grew up in Colorado, right outside Estes Park. And we would go into the mountains occasionally to get to go and experience the mountains, which was great. But truthfully, skiing and snowboarding and all that was very expensive, and I had a large family, and so we just didn't have the opportunity to go very often. So usually it was a big treat for us to go once a year, and because of that, I only did skiing because I was afraid to try something new and waste the experience that year, if that makes sense. Like, I loved it so much that I didn't want to spend my one time a year learning something and falling, I wanted to do the thing that I enjoyed. So now in the future, I would be afraid to do it, skiing or snowboarding, because I feel like my bones break easier. Okay, here's the start of this bag. It's Miles. And truthfully, you can kind of see the head print does have a little bit of head print there on the back. Truthfully, I would rather replace all these figs with the ones from the CMF line. Definitely much more impressive figs, but I'm happy to have them nonetheless. I like to add figs like this into our winter village, so, always a good option there. I've always loved Marvel way more than DC. DC has better villains a lot of the time, but Marvel probably has better heroes. Interesting. I think I agree. I don't know. I'll have to really think on that one for sure. I loved Batman growing up, and was just like really excited about it all the time, and really excited about the movies. And every iteration they've had of the movies, I've gone out to watch in theaters when they're out. And I've watched multiple times at home too. And so I remember when the Marvel movies first started coming out, I was like, I'm loosely familiar with these characters, but not super familiar. The X-Men movies, like, I ate those up as a kid, loved those. And also there was an X-Men TV show as I was a kid too. So that was, I suppose, DC, or was Marvel growing up as well. So, oh, bye, Cam. Good to see you. Hope the rest of your workday is good. Glad that you joined for a little bit. That was really nice. So let's see. So anybody else, if you want to share your New Year's goals, I'd love to hear from you. Oh, one of the things I wanted to talk about today also was the new Smart Brick from Lego. So I'm curious if you have opinions on it. Rocket and I have had some good chats through Instagram about it yesterday. And I'm going to take this cardigan off because it's a little toasty. Here in Texas, in Austin, we have a high of 79 today, which is gross. So, have I seen all the teaser trailers for the Doomsday movie? I have only seen 2 last night, actually, with Philip. We watched the Thor one and the X-Men one. I may have seen some others, but those are the only 2 that I can think of off the top of my head. And I need to go back through and look all of them up to see if there's any that we've missed. But yeah, so Lego introduces this new concept. It's called Smart Bricks, and it's pretty vague, and a lot of people don't know much about it. So I wanted to share what we learned as fan media. They gave us a preview of it yesterday, and we had a whole session where we learned all about what's coming, and I found it really interesting and helpful to know. So wanted to share with you what I know, not as a way to try and win you over for it, because I think everybody has their own opinions, and that's perfectly fine. But wanted you to know more about like what we learned, because I think there's a lot of misconception around what it actually is. So Smart Play is, or Smart Bricks and Smart Play system is designed around the way that kids play with Lego already. So if a kid gets a spaceship type set, right? So it's an X-Wing, it's a rocket ship, it's, the Buzz Lightyear ship. Those are the ones that I have in the other room that I've built. They make it swooshable, and they run around the house, and they make noises as if it's firing at another enemy, and all the different types of things, right? So the idea is they have lots of fun imagining what that spaceship sounds like, what missions it's on, and how it's kind of moving through life, and what the story is behind it. And Lego, through their research, found that kids these days, that makes me sound so old, but kids these days really prefer to have toys that interact with them and that respond to them. So they want responsive toys. So Lego typically is not responsive. It is imaginative and creative, but you build the sets, and ideally you unbuild them and rebuild in a different way. But you don't necessarily interact with it much beyond your own swooshing around the house and that kind of thing. And what they found is kids also tend to build the sets, play with them a little bit, and then move on to other things. And they are so tied to smart devices. And Lego does not want kids tied to smart devices. So Unlike video or hidden side, which had kids tied to a smart device and was requiring kids to learn a new behavior in order to play with the toys, this is designed to where they just play with the Lego as they would play with them anyway, but it makes noise or it reacts to and adds to the playtime and the story time. So the way I'm looking at this is very similar to a toy that I had growing up. That this is going to date me, but this was one of my favorite toys that I remember fondly, and that my parents actually gave me as an adult, like I don't know, like a decade ago, and it's just sitting in the garage. I actually was looking for it last night to show people this because it seemed like an apt description of how this Lego Smart Brick shows. So I'm going to look for it this afternoon, maybe, or tomorrow, and see if I can actually demonstrate with it. But it was called Wrinkles. Wrinkles was a dog that had all kinds of wrinkles all over his face and arms and everything. It initially was a dog puppet. In 1985, I found a preview for I found the advertisement from 1985 yesterday on YouTube and was like, oh my gosh, this is just crazy cool. So Wrinkles in 1986, they made it so that it was a puppet that also made noise and was reactive and responsive to certain things. So for instance, Wrinkles had a belly button, and if you pushed the belly button, it would turn him on or off. And once he was on, if you pushed the belly button again, he would giggle. And if you pushed it 2 or 3 times, he would continue to giggle in different laughs. And eventually he would say, "Stop tickling me." And that was just like the routine of like what happened every time you press the belly button. And what was interesting is you could push the belly button now, and then a minute later you could do it again, and it would kind of start the whole system over. So it wasn't like it just was a routine. It was like it knew if you pushed it 3 times in a row, it would tell you to stop tickling. It also had a bone that you could put in its mouth. And if you put it in its mouth, it made the noise of like slobber, like a dog would make when it was chewing on a bone. So it knew and had a sensor in the bone and had a sensor in the mouth that would know what that was. And if you took the bone away, it would get angry at you because you took the dog food away or the dog toy away. And it would make some kind of like angry responses. You could yell at it, and it knew if it heard a loud sound that it would start to whimper and say, "Was I a bad Wrinkles?" So it was a responsive toy. And it was something that I played with for years. Like I was obsessed with this thing. And it only had a certain routine of certain things it could do, but still it was enough to get me excited about and to get me to want to show all my friends and to play with. And I remember our favorite thing was to give it the bone and then take it away because we thought it was fun to be mean to it, which was not nice. Or to make it laugh enough to where it would tell you to stop tickling me. So we liked to pester it a little bit. But yeah, it was basically this toy that that was responsive. So when we think of the Lego Smart Bricks, that's essentially what they are. It is a responsive toy. So it is a brick that you, the brick that's smart knows how to read all different types of tags and symbols. So that is like the computer, if you will. And then if you have, let's say an example would be a tag that is coded. So it's one of the smart bricks that's like this newspaper, let's say, right? So it's similar to those video tiles we had. If you put that on the X-Wing and it's the X-Wing tag, then you put the smart brick on top of it, it reads that tag and knows this is an X-Wing, respond like an X-Wing would. And then they worked with kids to figure out how a kid would play with it. So how do they swoosh it around naturally? What makes sense to kids? How do they typically already play with the toys? And then from there, they would adapt the technology to make sure that it worked with their system of play already and the way the kids were like already using it. So if the kid is doing this, it knows that it is swooshing. If the kid is pushing a button on the back, it knows that it's firing lasers and it makes the laser sounds. If it interacts with another one, so we've got a TIE fighter and an X-Wing and they're shooting at each other, those sensors can talk to each other and it can know if it got hit and it can make damage sounds. If you put Luke in, sitting in the pilot seat, he can interact with his friends. And so he's interacting with the brick and interacting with R2-D2. Really, really interesting, really cool. The thing that people I think are confused about is they're assuming that this is another piece of technology like video or hidden side where it was requiring a smart device. And parents were like, what the heck? We don't want smart devices. We already have too much of that. We want them to be off those devices. That's what this is designed for. So I am not saying that this is the right thing to do or the wrong thing to do. But what I am saying is I grew up where we had cars that we would drive around and make our own noises. And we also, my neighbors had cars that could make noise when I revved the wheels, and it would rev the engine, or it would make a crashing sound when it ran into the wall. It's the same thing. So I don't personally think that this is robbing kids of the imagination that they have. I think it's actually playing into that, because you could also say, so I'm putting on a sticker, just a second. Here's the street address for Daily Bugle. Let's pretend this is the X-Wing one. Let's pretend this is my X-Wing, and let's pretend this is a dinosaur that I built. I could put the smart tag on the dinosaur, put the smart brick on top of it, and now when I swoosh around the dinosaur, it's going to make the noise of an X-Wing because it's reading the QR code or whatever the tag is that connects to the smart brick. So it allows kids to mash up concepts and ideas in a fun and silly way, that gets them hopefully building and playing with all of their bricks in different ways and connecting them to different things. So Lego does not tell us that we have to like things and that we have to say good things about them. There are sets that I think are too expensive. Quite frankly, I would imagine the one that I'm building right now is too expensive, and I don't like that. So no one tells us how to review or what opinions to have or whatever. But truthfully, yes, they do give us free sets. They do give us early access information, that kind of stuff, right? So that, of course, is building goodwill with people who are ambassadors, to where we're not going to go in and say Lego's the worst company. Of course not. Like, we're Lego fans. We're super fans of Lego, which is why we're ambassadors of the company. But again, they're not telling us exactly what to believe or what to say. And some are more skeptical than others with the smart brick. I think it's actually pretty cool. I asked if they would send me some of the sets in advance so that I would have the chance to play with them and give my own feedback and opinion, because the tutorial and overview that we saw was interesting, but I want my hands on it and I want to better understand it. So if they send it early, great. If not, I'm going to be requesting that to get to review in the future, just to experience that. So, all right, let's see. Anyway, rant over. But yeah, when I thought of wrinkles, I was like, oh my gosh, this is actually a pretty good example, hopefully. And similar, I would say, like Teddy Ruxpin, if that was something that you grew up with, or Furbies, right? Have you seen all the teasers? There's the Captain America teaser one. Oh, I did. I think we did watch that one. Can't wait. Can't wait to see how they are incorporated into other Yes, I am excited to see how the smart bricks get incorporated into other IPs. And my hope is that they also get incorporated into non-IP sets. My wish would be that they would create a creator box that has a bunch of tags and a smart brick in it. So that it's like a tag that roars like a dinosaur, a tag that clucks like a chicken, etc. Like different things like that would all be in a creator set, so that then you can build and imagine and play and add them to different things in a really fun and creative way. That, I think, would be a smart way to get people to adopt this system better, and also maybe get it at a cheaper price point because it wouldn't be attached to an IP. My concern is if they only go the route of IPs, that they're going to run into some complaints from people for sure. So yeah, similar to the Mario sets, just with different sounds and a few more functions. I think so. Also, so we have, I had requested Bowser for review last year, and I got to build him, and it's so cool. I started him on a live stream, and of course, massive set, so it took a long time to do. But once it was done, just blown away by it. But that one is interactive with the Mario things, and I didn't have any of the Mario characters. So the other day, and by the other day I mean months ago, I was at Walmart, and they had a Princess Peach one on clearance. So I bought it so that I could actually play with it and understand how that works, because I just was curious as to how it would interact both with Bowser, and I have a couple other Mario sets that it could interact with too. So I think that it is just like that, but curious to see as we get our hands on it how it actually functions in person. One of the things I loved was, like, they showed if you like crash a vehicle, right? that it makes the sounds of like spiraling down and crashing. Like they were thoughtful about the gestures that kids naturally make. And I think the big difference for me than like the hidden side in video is there they were saying to kids, here's how you're supposed to play with these toys. Here's the behaviors that you need to learn in order for this to function well. And it didn't work because kids were like, well, I don't play that way. And they're not going to spend some time learning how to do it correctly to get it to interact because they just aren't that interested in it. But if it naturally works the way that they already play, I think they're going to get more into it from the beginning. And they said one of their biggest joys was getting to work with the kids in the focus groups and everything because those kids taught them so much about this. And they said once it's in the hands of those kids, like they go wild and are so excited about it. Now, of course, there's probably a marketing element of the way that they're talking about these things. They're not going to say, yeah, some of the kids in the focus group hated it or whatever, you know. But truthfully, I don't think they would be producing any product that they felt like was not going to be successful with kids. And their core audience, spoiler alert to the AFOLs in the room, is not AFOLs. Big surprise, but Lego cares more about what kids' experiences are than they do about what adult experiences are. Now, their adult line is making them a lot of money for sure, and they've tapped into a very smart concept there by reaching out to the adult fans. And obviously, that's why Philip and I build. We love the adult style of building and like the display style and less of the playability style, right? But we're not really their core audience. So I think a lot of the feedback I've heard from AFOLs complaining about this are AFOLs who don't see this as for them. And the reality is that's true. It's not designed for adults. So that said, like I'm excited to see if and how I can incorporate it into mocks because I think that'll be a fun thing to do. So all right. Getting the base floor doors, of course, with the windows that say Daily Bugle and the Daily Bugle sign above. Now, granted, this one is far less detailed than that big Daily Bugle set from before, but I'm pretty pleased with it so far. I think what I might do to try and customize is I may try to do the brick built Daily Bugle lettering and see if I can find a way to attach it to this. I'd probably have to scale it down a little bit because this is going to be a smaller size of like lobby and such. But that would be a fun way to upscale this a little bit more. So, all right. Getting through more of this section. It's not been the most engaging and exciting part of the build yet, but I feel like that's always the case when you're building out the base of something. Thanks for the explanation. Was still a bit confused, but it makes more sense now. Yeah, I think honestly, my biggest criticism is I don't think they introduced it all that well. And so the fact that people are upset, for those who've been upset about it, doesn't surprise me because they don't really understand what this is and they're left to their own devices of trying to figure out and work out for themselves what it is. Plus, people hear one or two words, it brings to mind other things in their head and they instantly make a decision or an assumption about it. And I think that's part of the challenge we have in our society today is we rely on quick, fast, short, brief information that we get through social media. And that's how we gather so much data about stuff. But that means that we're not ready for nuance and we're not ready for spending a little bit of extra time and effort to better understand something. I mean, that's not a criticism of any one person in particular. It's more of a criticism of the way that our society has moved. Like we are not prone to be primed and ready to, you know, have really thoughtful and intentional conversations. Instead, we're primed to have instant reactions and make them as big and strong as possible because that's what people do on social media. So instead of saying, I don't really understand this, people are more prone to say, this is ridiculous because I don't get it, right? So I said rant over, but clearly I continued. All right, we have our next sticker. So far, this has been pretty sticker heavy, this step in particular, but also the last one. But I love the details that stickers add, so I think it's worth it. And I also understand the cost implications of Lego providing sets that have all printed parts. So No surprise there. This sticker says empty bin, and it has like all kinds of files and things that you would see on a computer. Let me do it this way so I hope you can see that better. And then, of course, the Daily Bugle stickers. So now we're getting a little lobby, kind of check-in reception desk, which is fun. They've got a yellow mug, which I appreciate getting more of these mugs. I love having more options for minifigs to have coffee. Ooh, speaking of which, this is probably cold now. All right. Wonder who's going to be working reception. Should we make that Miles? I don't think so. He needs to be like fighting the battle alongside Spider-Man. Honestly, I loved the Spider-Man movies, but I think I love Miles Morales better. Maybe that's just the newer piece of it, like newer to me, storylines and stuff. I grew up with all the Spider-Man movies and everything, so, you know. So fun story, in 2024, the movie theater movie theaters across the nation did all the old Spider-Man movies, all 9 of them. 9? 1, 2, 3, I think 9. And so I went weekly and saw every single one again, and it was so much fun to get to experience that again. All right, so we're getting the same newspapers here that'll be on the inside of the lobby. That's fun. And then the next bag 4, gives us J. Jonah Jameson. I don't know why I thought Joe. Probably just because Jonah. All right, so we've heard some goals related to health, related to reading, related to, I talked about organization as a part of mine. I also have a goal of theming my days. So now that I'm not working full time and I have this kind of mix of different part-time jobs, that I am entirely in charge of my time for, and managing my time for, I am wanting to focus on theming my days so that I'm making sure that I'm making progress in all the areas. So for example, today, on Wednesdays, are going to include live streaming and building, and there will be other things that I'll include on those days, since live streaming is just like a small part of that. But that'll be part of Wednesdays. One day a week is going to be focused on house. So I want to focus on making progress on some house projects that Philip and I have been wanting to do, since I have a little bit more bandwidth during the workday to focus on some of those things. I also want to focus on networking and connecting with people who I know from my different experiences in life who might be interested in doing some of the consulting work that I provide, right? And then I'm also dedicating some time to art and Lego building every day, and that and on specific days, like focusing on that. And that way, if I have clients where I'm doing things like the Wicked project that I got to do, or I'm working on another one that I can't tell you about yet, but that is super fun right now, then I make sure that I'm making good progress on those things, but also that it doesn't completely take over. Like the Wicked project, it was massive and needed dedicated time for it, but it also kind of took over a lot of my free time. So yeah, that's a part of my goal, and part of that is journaling. So I do something called bullet journaling, and that is a process that's really helpful with organization and structure. But it's also helpful from a mental health standpoint because it incorporates the like positive aspects of journaling too. But for me, I'm leaning into doing it in a less time-intensive way. So I used to do it where it was visual and pretty and beautiful and artistic, and I'm still doing some elements of that, but I've minimized some of that down a little bit, so that it's a little bit scaled down, and makes it more manageable to keep up with. And that is helping me with these theme days. So before I go to bed at night, I reflect on the day. I look through my checklist and see what items need to migrate to the next day or to a future day. And I plan for the next day, and I end the day with some gratitude journaling. And that's just been a really great way to start. So, all right, we've got J. Jonah Jameson. Here's his full look with his regular not so happy with life expression. He has very slight back printing, not much, but it's like basically just to make it clear that that's a suit jacket. And then check out this alternate face. Yeah, I love this. He's got that little web over his mouth. Shut your mouth, Jonah Jameson. So you know what? He's going to be working reception. I know that he's in charge of this whole thing, but that's where we're putting you right now. All right. Any other goals? Any Lego goals that y'all have? I want to continue to grow my YouTube presence in particular, but also my Instagram. That's always like a constant goal that I have. And so want to continue to expand upon that. And I think doing things like the build challenge help with that too. But also just having people share and send some of the things that they really liked that I produced to other people. So I'm trying to make sure that the content I'm creating is beneficial and helpful for other people. Just a direct ask, if you're on Instagram or YouTube and you want to share any of my content with your friends, that would mean a lot to me. It would make a difference to have more people continuing to pass on things that they feel resonate with them and that they think would help their friends as well. So I'm just putting that out there since y'all are here and y'all are so kind. I would also say if you can like and subscribe, that would be wonderful. That would help me continue to grow this channel and continue to produce really cool things, hopefully for y'all. So, and as I'm putting out these tutorials, hopefully that will also be stuff that you'll enjoy and also that you'll be willing to share with others too. So that said, if you have a Lego goal of wanting to learn specific things, please let me know. And I will look at ways to incorporate some of those learnings into some of my future videos, as well as into the build challenge. So I'm trying to think through, and I may just ask the people who participated in the build challenge last year, what are some things you want to learn? So that I can focus it on the things that the people who are already active in the build challenge are interested in. So if that's you, or if you just want to throw something in the chat here and let me know, that'd be great. Let me know what you'd like to learn. We'll see about adding that in. I know that, like I said, I grew in my build skills by doing regular build challenges and learning from others who are willing to share how to build some things and that kind of stuff. All right, be more creative is probably your Lego related goal. You want to participate in more challenges on Insta. You stayed up to date yesterday and finished your entry for the 26 by 26 base challenge. Wow, that's amazing. We just released that challenge. That is so cool. I have started to ideate on what I want to create for that as a co-host of Let's Build series this month. But I have not dove into actually doing it yet. So kudos to you for that. That's really cool. And in terms of being more creative, I'll just put a shameless plug. I will be releasing information on Instagram next week for what my monthly build challenge is going to be. And my hope is to do it in a way that helps people participate in multiple challenges and not feel like they have to choose one over the other, because there's all kinds of great communities out there. Let's Build series is wonderful. Kate is fantastic. She's built a wonderful community there. I feel honored that she's asked me to co-host the last 3 years now. So this is my third year running with January. And she's a dear friend too. And then I would say the same for Jen with the Habitat Challenges. So I highly encourage you to do those. I get to be the host of Valentine's Habitats, and this will be my second year fully hosting, but maybe my fifth year with hosting or co-hosting, because Jen pulled me in earlier for that, which is really cool. Thank you for whoever just liked. That means so much. I know it's silly and I feel embarrassed sometimes to ask, but I find that sometimes making that simple ask, that people are generous and kind and are willing to do it. So so thank you. That does mean a lot that you liked the feed today. But yeah, I want to make it so that either maybe my build challenge can sometimes incorporate and tie in with another challenge so that it's like 2 for 1, or that they're set up at times that it's not necessarily conflicting. So we'll see. Yeah, the 26 by 26 base. I'm excited for. We did the first year that I co-hosted with her in January was 2024, and we made the challenge 24 by 24, and it was fun because you had to make a custom base, which already it adds its own complications and challenges. But then it was so open-ended, and it was neat to see how different people interpreted it and did it in very different ways. And then last year with 2025, we did using 25 elements. And so that led to also some really interesting and unique builds. But I'm glad that we went back towards doing just like a base plate scale or a base scale and size, because it really leaves it to being very open-ended and not having a maximum amount of parts that you can use or elements that you can use also expands on what people can produce. So in a month's time, which is nice. But yeah, since like I said, I'm working on that really cool project that I can't talk about directly yet. So that'll be the first focus I have in January. And then I'll probably move on to starting to build out my Let's Build series entry. So fun. And I love the goal that you mentioned of be more creative and leaving that pretty open-ended. And that could be Lego specific. It could be other things. When I worked at Paper Source, I really loved their mission and their tagline, which was do something creative every day. To me, it just spoke to the way that I want to live my life. I love creativity and art and learning and growth. And anytime you're doing something creative, you're taking risks and you're growing in your confidence. And so to me, that was also another benefit of all of that that comes out of being creative. And so even though I don't work there anymore, I worked there for 5 years part-time. It's still, that's a phrase that I'm really passionate about and connect with. And I loved that it was open-ended. So do something creative every day could be, I wrote a poem, or I painted a picture, or I doodled on a napkin. It doesn't have to be any major big thing or huge achievement, or it can be very focused too. So I applaud you on having something related to creativity as a goal. That will always be in my list of kind of personal goals and things that I focus on. I also, I have set for myself core values, and my core values include creativity, courage, compassion, so lots of C's, growth, and authenticity. Those are the ones that I really connect deeply with, and try to have as a part of the work that I do and the part of the life that I live. I want that to always show up in the work that I'm doing. Okay, so we are getting a little side piece section that hi Ben, what do you call this, a side piece section? That's so silly. A little side ladder type thing. I'm losing my words here. But it's off the side of the building. Yay. Ben, we are building this big guy. It's the new Daily Bugle. And I just saw it has the build together instructions tag on it. I have to tell you, Philip and I played around with the build together stuff this like Christmas time. And actually when we built the tree that's right there, we used the build together instructions. It is so cool. And is great for families or for building with like friends or whatever. Just building with a group of people. It's a really unique and interesting way to navigate instructions and to let people kind of go at their own pace, but you're still working on something together. So I highly recommend that. With the early access sets that we get through the Lego Ambassador Network, usually that feature is not turned on yet because they wait until it's available to the market. So often with reviews, we're not able to do build together, but Philip and I built the tree, which is there, way after it was available to the public again. So we got to play with it. So, and really the first time I learned about it was at Lego Fan Media Days. I got to do that with the designer of it. And so that was really, really cool. That was my first experience. And with Dan, if you know Dan, my buddy from Two Gay Apples, he was there and we were sharing that interview time together. So we got to build part of the set with the designer, which is just a riot. So Ben, do you have any 2026 goals, Lego related or not, that you want to share with the group? Whoop. Just launched a tile across the room, so I'll have to find that later. All right. Pretty fun, simple detail in the building facade here. Not like too much yet. Oh, here we go. I love this piece. And I love the way that that's being incorporated into here as building detail. I think that's going to be pretty sleek. Ooh, this is fun. So, as we know, our friend Spider-Man is a photographer. Peter Parker is a photographer for the Daily Bugle, not Daily Planet. I keep messing that up. So we've got a bin here that'll be inside and on the roof probably. We've got a camera in there. We've got a lid for it. And on top, the most important piece, sustenance. Pizza. Ben, I'm so excited. I got a new camera. So now when I do this, it automatically focuses. That's all. Not too much. We've got a big trip at the end of the year, so saving up is a priority. Totally fair. We have a big trip in March, and also in that same boat. So I am with you with that. And then you also said Lego stuff is just have fun things for Brick Rodeo and get more of the Q2 Stadium done. Awesome. If you don't know Ben, you should, because he's amazing. Incredibly talented builder, very funny guy, very sarcastic guy, and a good friend. And yeah, you should definitely go check out his Q2 Stadium. Do you have more of that shared here? Yeah, new camera. Like I was super, super excited about this. It was a Black Friday purchase, so I got a good deal on it. I did a lot of research ahead of time of which one I wanted, and I'm very happy with it so far. So I'm happy to share more details with anybody who is looking into cameras. But and I also decided I'm not going to do StreamYard or Restream or anything for now because for like my regular streams like this, because the quality is much better otherwise, because I don't have the big subscriptions to them because it's expensive. It's too expensive. So yeah, that was another decision I made. Okay, so we're getting the second floor. It looks like it might be, oh, this is a copy machine. This is fun. Okay, I like that there's a copier here. I think it's kind of funny that they decided to take this room and have that be where they put Peter Parker's stowaway toys. But I guess a copy room might be the most inconspicuous place to hide your things. So, you know what I think would be really fun is if Lego gave us an extra set of clothes so that Peter Parker could be in regular Peter Parker clothes, and then you could have his Spider-Man suit in that little bin instead of the camera. But of course, they're not going to give us an extra minifig setup. So, all right, this copier is kind of fun. So we've got the little buttons on the side. This lifts up. It's open, but to me, that's a copy machine. That would be my guess. You got the C3PO set today. Yes. I got the C3PO set last fall and haven't built it yet. But I got it because in Lego Masters in our Star Wars day or challenge, when they asked us which between R2-D2 and C3PO, which one we would be, I said C3PO. And so when that set was released, I was like, I have to have this. It's just too cool. So Philip actually opened it so that we could take out the minifig for our Winter Village because our other C3PO was already in use. That is on my list to eventually build. So I'll probably build that one not on a stream because I've got plenty of review sets to do. So that's really fun. And I love that you did the last couple on the Q2 work. So, all right, we got more of the ladders, and you can see these like move and flip up and whatever. So that makes sense for, what do you call that? Like escape route? I can't remember what you'd say there. And this is going to go on top of here like so, which interestingly enough, the sides only attach by a few studs, but the front of it attaches by studs all the way across. So these, while it is modular, it's not designed to like move around and make modular. All right, y'all, this is pretty cool. So this is the first 2 floors. I'm going to take a quick look at the box and see. Looks like it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 floors plus the top fire escape. Thank you. I don't know why my words were just like running away from me there. It is a fire escape. All right. It is 2:30. I think I will do one more bag and then we'll call it a day. For those still on the stream, I'd love it if you would like and subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. And like I said, stay tuned. Next week, I will be sharing more details about the plans for the Build with BJB Challenge and how we're going to continue that this year. So really excited for what's to come now. And if you are interested in giving feedback on it, I have a feedback form that I dropped in the Build with BJB community or channel on Instagram. And I've asked people for feedback by the end of today. So that's why I'm not announcing yet, because I want to hear from people first and make adjustments based on that too. Yay! I'm so glad you're looking forward to the challenge. I'm excited. Excuse me. I'm excited to have you join in the challenge as well. And thank you to whomever just liked the feed. I really appreciate that. That support means a lot to me. It makes a difference. So, all right, we got Mysterio. Ooh. So in the last set that we got Mysterio in, or maybe not the last one in general, the last one that we own, he didn't have a face. He just had like a regular minifigure, like blank head piece. And in this one, he's got a freaking cool face. That's awesome. This is really, really fun. Okay, let me give you a look at this. Okay, that's the back. So let me flip this around. Okay, take a look at the face print here. That is really cool. And the torso print and leg print, like pretty fantastic. When we flip it around, we get the backside of the face print too. Super cool. Before I take off the, actually here, let me just flip the cape around. Here's the back print. This is a pretty solid figure. I'm impressed. I wasn't expecting him to be that detailed. I didn't really pay much attention to what it looked like on the box. Okay, and then once we put the little helmet over, you can still see part of that face print through it. Like, it's maybe not showing up too clearly for y'all because of the shine on that, but there's a little bit of that face showing through. So that is really good. Let's see. I'm looking forward to your challenge. Yay. Best looking forward to the challenges. Woohoo. Good stuff. You said, say that again, Brandon. Say what again? Was I talking about the Mysterio? I think what I was talking about was the last Lego set that I got a Mysterio minifig in. The head was not a face print. It was just like a blank minifigure head. So fantastic. Oh, fantastic. I don't know if I said it in an interesting way, but this is a fantastic fig. Really, really love it. So, all right. And then he's got this really cool blaster piece, which I think I've only seen in blue and pink so far. So it's nice to get it in green. I'm sure it's been in green in other sets, but we just haven't got any yet with it. I was so happy to get this wave of Marvel sets. Some of them are like super cheesy and dumb, and they sent it all at once. So it was like a box of 8 or 9 sets that were all coming out in January. And again, no complaints. I'm thrilled anytime we get the opportunity to review these things. And review is kind of a loose term, but early access to get to build these sets and share them with y'all. But some of them are like Spider-Man and his car. Spider-Man doesn't have a car. Ghost Rider with Spider-Man in a car. Like, come on, that's just silly. But then this Daily Bugle, so cool. And my favorite in this wave was the Groot, which was nearby, and I don't see him. I'll have to show you him later. He's really, really cool. Yeah, there we go. It's That is Blaster. If you've seen the memes regarding Fantastic Four, they say, the say that again line is the most iconic part. Thank you. I will have to watch that again. Apologize for missing the meme reference there. Thanks for teaching me. All right. Building on up. Yeah, Ben, I know that you're not on Instagram anymore, and I fully respect that and understand why. I am looking to maybe incorporate a Discord into the Build Challenge community, and that way, if people want to participate but don't have an Instagram, they can, as well as a way for people to have two-way communication back and forth as they're building it out. So we'll see about that, but that's the current plan right now. So I may be picking your brain a little bit about how you set up yours. I know yours has been mostly for like streams and stuff, but yeah, we'll see what comes from that. I'm looking forward to having her participate and potentially having you participate as well. And I shared this before on the stream today, but part of my goal with this build challenge this time is to do some educational tutorial stuff. And so it'll include elements of teaching some kind of cool build concept. And then you'll need to incorporate that concept into the challenge prompt. So the challenge prompt will ask you to find a way to build with it. So I am getting to teach, which I love. It's going to be so much fun. And what I love with this too is that like part of the teaching also teaches me. Like I get to learn some new skills through this too. But then also I get to pass on some of the things that I already know. So I'm really looking forward to getting to do this. So also, fun plug for anybody in the room on the call. If you have a local LUG or Lego user group that is possible for you to join, please do. I highly recommend it. I find so much joy in connecting with the Lego builders and ours. Ben is our ambassador, so he communicates between the LUG and the LAN, and it's really helpful to get to meet in person and do build challenges together in person, and it's just pretty cool. So you want my Discord? It's a ghost town. We can trade it off. I don't know. Let's talk about it though, for real, because I do want to figure out how I'm setting this up. And yeah, I do want to pick your brain about what you think would help make it successful and whatnot. So yeah. I want to also be thoughtful about what's realistic for me to do in a year. I have goals, like I said, related to continuing to grow my consulting business and, doing those themed days where I'm focusing on doing different pieces throughout the week so that I'm making sure I'm making progress in all those different areas that I want to make progress in. And so the one reason why I haven't officially just like launched the Discord yet is I want to make sure that it's what I want to do and invest my time in before diving right in. So what do LUGs do? It's been, you've been to an exhibition hosted by one, but LUGs probably meet up regularly too. So each is different. Each kind of does their own thing, but the way that ours works is we have a monthly meeting, and at that meeting, we do a build prompt prior to it, and we do seed parts. So seed parts means that everybody gets like a bag of Lego wrenches for a minifigure or something like that. And then we have to incorporate that into the build for the next week or for the next month. We meet monthly. People basically bring their builds that they're working on and bring them as show and tell. And so we go around the room and everybody shares what they're building and asks questions of each other and learns from each other, which is really cool. And so, yeah, it's a great supportive community. But that's how ours works. Others don't meet as regularly and focus mostly on just events. And so that is a little different than ours. But yeah, ours is more focused on those regular meetings. We also are actively involved in putting on some different events in town. So like Ben can talk about, we do some events at a brewery where we bring builds that people can meet us and see our builds and stuff, which is fun. Let's see which stickers. Oh, okay, I'm getting some window shade stickers that I'll have to put on. Please hold while I do this. Please read Ben's note about lugs while I put my stickers on. All right, one done. These are fun stickers. It'd be nice to have a bunch of these for buildings if you did like a massive structure. Oops. All right, so they're little like window shades that are pulled slightly down. It'd also be nice to have some that are pulled all the way down and some that are open where you see like what's going on the inside, but I'll take what I can get. But yeah, so we do those local events, and then we also have Brick Rodeo, which technically the lug doesn't run, but I would say that the people who run it are all involved in the lug. Brick Rodeo is a separate entity, and we get support from other lugs in Texas in planning that as well. So we're hosting it in Austin this year. It's technically Round Rock, but that's basically a suburb of Austin. And so we'd love for you to come and meet in person and hang out in July. It'll be lots of fun. But that's another piece. Okay, another big sticker that we're going to put on this clear window. Interesting. So this sticker, oh, I hate it when the stickers go inside windows. It makes it so hard to align perfectly. And with this being such an obvious square shape, I want to get it right. I think this is actually decent. So it shows Mysterio. It says live, 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 the stream across the bottom. So yeah. Yes. Also, it been said about it allows you access to participate in some of the other support programs that LEGO provides too. So, but you do have to be an active member of a lug that's recognized by LEGO for that too. So there are some that are unrecognized, and that just means LEGO doesn't officially recognize them. But those that are recognized have responsibilities that they have to fulfill with LEGO to stay recognized. Ours is, which is awesome. Northern Germany, yay! Far away. It's later in your evening then. That's really fun. Thank you so much for joining today. I'm so glad that you're here. I know that there are some lugs in Germany. I just don't know which ones off the top of my head. All right. We are building the same exact build for the fire escape as we did before. So far, it looks identical. And I love this because it's going to be climbing up the building on the outside, which is great. And Brandon says Los Angeles, San Fernando Valley. Awesome. So I know there are some in the LA area. There's a new LEGO convention coming to the LA area that will be in March, I think. We can't go. I really wanted to go this year, but we will be out of the country. That's the big trip I was talking about. So unfortunately, we won't be there. But you should go if you're interested. It'll be really fun. And yeah, I know there's some lugs out there. There's Lagola, which is in LA. And then I don't know about San Fernando Valley, though. Like, what would be, if there's anything specifically over there. So I could see if you're building a giant building that this would get repetitive to have this over and over again, the fire escape type structure. But since it's just a few rows of this, I don't think it's going to bother me at all. Not one bit. So, all right, almost done with bag 5, and then I think I'm going to take a break and say goodbye. But I'm going to continue until we're there. Thank you all so much for joining, whether for part of this or some of y'all for the whole stream. It's been really fun to chat with you today and to have some company while I build. So I really love our online LEGO community, and I just feel like there's really good folks. I'd look it up, but the lands map is Borkton. It's hard to navigate. It is, yeah, it's a little tough for sure to navigate. I feel like if you know the name of the lug, you can find it pretty easily, or the community you're looking for, but that's not what people need. They need like a easy to look around map. So good luck if that's what you're looking for, and hopefully you find it. Okay. We have this build that's going to go on top. You can see all the snot bricks sitting there on the front. I'm going to attach this here, and then I'm going to show you everything we built today. We'll go through it all. Let's see, how does this go? This is pointing up. But I want to make sure that I have that right, because it seems... Oh, this isn't wanting me to put it on yet, which I'm wondering what, once we do. Okay, it looks like this is going to push back this way towards me, and then this one will go on top. Oh, that makes sense. Okay, so now they're not colliding. Earlier it was colliding. But this is where we're at so far. There's going to be more that we build onto this top section in bag 6. So there's more there that's to come. But loving these 3 floors that we have with the base floor, Daily Bugle signs, flip it around and we see J. Jonah Jameson working the front desk, and we see the newspapers, which is fun. And then we've got these 2 floors as well. What'd you say? Oh, I said flip it around, and Philip said Wicked Witch. Adam Horrible, Wicked Witch. If you know that meme, or yes. And if you don't, that's okay. And then in bag 2, so going reverse order, we got this amazing newsstand. Super cool with Spider or Ghost Spider or Spider-Gwen. And bag 1, this chunky dude. I love this rhino mech. This was actually really, really fun to build and very satisfying. I love those boots and the shoulder pieces in particular. Pretty cool. Ben says hi. Philip's over. He's waving. He's in work mode over on the couch. He works from home, but going through some of his work stuff. We got a Miles Morales. We got a spider, of course. And duh. Spider-Man, Spider-Man. Do, 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 do. Nice printing there for him. And then, by far, the best printing of the minifigs so far, Mysterio. So, I will continue this later. Looks like I've got 3 more bags, but I need to take a break. Thank you all for joining.